The Minnesota Supreme Court has sided with a male athlete in a women's sports case. That athlete, J.C. Cooper, was not allowed to compete in a women's powerlifting event back in 2018. And the court says USA Powerlifting violated the state's Human Rights Act by doing that. The Minnesota House Speaker responded to the verdict in a statement, quote, "For decades, women and girls fought tirelessly for the rights guaranteed under Title IX. Sadly, those hard-won protections have increasingly come under attack, and today's decision marks another setback in the fight to protect girls' sports," end of quote. In February, President Trump signed that executive order to keep biological males out of women's sports. Female athletes have often called out the unfairness of those competitions.
Women's sports are designed to demonstrate female athletic excellence, and that gets lost when there are men in the tournament.
I wasn't able to compete with someone who is genetically different than me.
It's just sad as a woman to watch that and have I feel bad for the person in second place because they probably worked really hard to get where they are.
I don't want the protest to be turned against this athlete. I want it to be turned, and I think most of us do want it to be turned against the people in authority and the adults who need to stand up for us.
That is a very mature way of looking at it. And focus now, Steve Hilton, Republican candidate for governor of California. So let's talk about those adults and their decisions. Steve, your thoughts?
It's just incredible, isn't it, Harris? I mean, we all look at this, the vast majority of Americans, and say, when is this absurdity, this insanity going to end? I mean, it's just been going on for so long. And of course, the president's doing what he can. And then you have rulings like this. And the basis of the ruling is that it's discrimination. Right? It's a discrimination against the biologically male weightlifter. And you just think, what are you talking about? Yes, it is discrimination. It's discrimination against the girls. It's discrimination against women to allow this. By the way, that's the basis of the lawsuit that I will bring as governor to overturn California's law allowing this madness, which was passed 12 years ago, because it discriminates against girls, exactly as you said, who've worked so hard to pursue their dreams. And just when you think this can't get any worse, just the other day, you had Betty Yee, a candidate for California governor.
Yes.
I was on with her, and Piers Morgan saying that if she's governor of California... We
have a little bit of that. Hold on one second, because I want to get your reaction, Steve. One of your Democratic opponents in the race for governor weighed in on biological male athletes competing in women's category in the 2028 Los Angeles Olympic Games. Here's what you mentioned. Let's watch.
My question is whether you think they should compete in women's sport in the Olympics, because it's coming to LA, so it's relevant.
I think transgender female athletes are women athletes, and they should be able to compete.
Really? So if you were governor of California, you would support biological males who identify as women competing in women's sport in the Olympics?
They are now identified as transgender female.
And you think that makes, and you think it's fair that they should then compete in women's sport?
I think they should be able to compete in women's sports.
She didn't just say they should compete. She says they are women. So the Democrats can, they may not be right, but they can define a woman per their perspective.
It's so unbelievable. You just think, this can't be real. Is this AI? You know, she went on to say that she wants the Olympics to be, quote, gender neutral. And then she said...
How is that possible?
I know. And literally, when he asked her which sports in the Olympics do you think it would be fair to allow biological men to compete with women, she said, oh, maybe track and field. And he said, which particular events? She said, oh, you know, the short races, like the 100, he said, like the 100 meters. And she said, yes. That Usain Bolt, I mean, it's just so beyond belief.
Usain Bolt.
This shows you that the ideology has captured the Democratic Party so strongly. You see it in everything. They take the side of these fringe issues and these fringe people all the time, whether that's on illegal immigration, on fentanyl, on drug smuggling, and everything. They take the side of this tiny, tiny fringe minority ideological position instead of the basic common sense position shared by the vast majority of Americans. And it's just amazing to watch this party basically throw itself off a cliff like this.
All right, we'll move forward. Despite the shutdown and constant resistance, America's immigration and custom enforcement agents are still on the job, tracking down, arresting, and removing some of the worst offenders from our streets who came into the country illegally. ICE says their latest arrests include convicted pedophiles, murderers, child rapists. One of those suspects, an illegal immigrant, was from India. I should say those people were convicted. One of a suspect list that they also picked up was from India and released into the United States under the Biden administration's alternatives to detention. That was a policy in 2022. Here's now accused of gross vehicular manslaughter, a man who did this. Police say he was drunk when he plowed his semi-truck into traffic on a California highway. The crash killed 3 people, injured several others. It's the latest example of the lasting effects of President Biden's disastrous border policy. And while ICE keeps working to protect the public, some Democrats are doubling down on dangerous rhetoric to put them in danger.
People have criticized me for talking about the Nazi regime. It's the one I know most about because I helped to build a Holocaust museum. This is what happened. People's rights started getting taken away. People got accused of being immigrants. This is before the Holocaust really took place. They create these kind of fake ideas that there's an enemy out there and it could be sitting next to you at one of these tables. Let's make sure that they are the subject of the laws that we're passing because we don't like who they are. That is what authoritarian regimes do.
Steve.
Look, again, you can't quite believe that this is happening. Just last night, I was at an event. One of my friends and supporters, Agnes Gibney, an angel mom, asked the question, what are we going to do about these people who are here illegally and they kill, like she lost her only son, murdered by an illegal immigrant who should never have been here. These deaths in this incident in California as well. On and on it goes, and you have a Trump administration elected to do something about this with the popular vote, and you have these Democrat politicians standing with the criminals and the illegal immigrants and the human traffickers, and it's just beyond belief. Why? Because of their hatred of President Trump. But in that process, they are showing whose side they're really on. They are on the side of the people. It's always like this now with the Democrats. If you do the wrong thing, then the Democrats reward you. And if you do the right thing, the vast majority of law-abiding people in our country, the Democrats are going to punish you. It's unbelievable.
Well, Steve, I go full circle. Top of the show, we are waiting for the Senate to take another vote, this time to try to keep our U.S. military and many of those in law enforcement who keep us safe paid through the Democrats-led shutdown of the federal government, day 23. So literally full circle as you were talking. So
Amazing.
Good to have you. Thank you, Steve Hilton.
Hey, everyone. I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.